Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Dapper Dragon, I am revisiting Aeon Bridge. This was a really fun deck when I played it a month or two ago for Dapper Dragon. This is definitely a combo deck. I almost said it's a fair deck with a combo plan, but I don't know if that's fair. It has both. Let's go piece by piece through this thing in case you missed the last one. It's a show and tell deck. This card clearly indicates a certain type of plan. The things worth showing into play, we got 1 Griselbrand, 2 Omniscience, 4 Emrakul. Working with this plan, we have Mosswort Bridge. Hideaway 4. When it enters the battlefield, look at your top 4 cards, exile 1 face down, and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. If you have 10 or more power in play, you can pay a green, activate Mosswort Bridge, and cast, I think it's play. You may play the card under Mosswort Bridge without paying its mana cost. This is kind of a hard work version of show and tell. If you tuck an Omniscience, Emrakul, or Griselbrand under there, when you get 10 power in play, you can throw it onto the stack. Phyrexian Dreadnought makes it pretty easy to get 10 power, 1 mana, 12/12. Probably won't be in play for long, but doesn't need to be if Emrakul is coming. Our routes to get to Phyrexian Dreadnought is Urza Saga. This is where the fair side of the deck sort of blinks out from behind the cloud a little bit. You can make Saga tokens, you can beat down. Generally, this is just going to chuck a Phyrexian Dreadnought into play, because Phyrexian Dreadnought is a 1-mana artifact that you can tutor for Chapter 3. If you have Mosswort Bridge in play, when you tutor up Phyrexian Dreadnought, Dreadnought will arrive and then ask you to sacrifice 12 power worth of creatures. In response to that, you can activate Bridge, get your big spell, and then Dreadnought can die. It did its job, it's out of here. There's also a fun trick you can do where if you put a Phyrexian Dreadnought under Mosswort Bridge, then play or tutor up another one, in response to the sacrifice 12 power worth of creatures trigger, you can flip the Mosswort Bridge, put in the other Phyrexian Dreadnought, and then eat the first one to the second one's trigger, and then you can keep the second one. That's a way to get a Dreadnought into play. There's also a deck with 4 dress down in it. If you dress down before Phyrexian Dreadnought enters the battlefield, it's just a 1 mana 12/12. And when it remembers all its abilities again, it's already in play. It doesn't ask you to sacrifice anything. This can end up going really fast. You could play a turn 1 Urza Saga. It goes to Chapter 1. On turn 2, it goes to Chapter 2. You play an island. In your opponent's end step, you cast Dress Down. Then you untap, search your deck for a 12/12. You can chuck a 12/12 into play as early as turn 3 in this deck. Dress Down is a little awkward with Urza Saga because you don't want to be making a bunch of constructs if you're just going to dress down the Dreadnought into play later. This is much more of a tutor card than a construct card. But that's what this deck is doing. It has Phyrexian Dreadnought to turn on Mosswort Bridge, and it has Dress Down to turn on Phyrexian Dreadnought. Dress Down is also just a playable Magic card in Legacy. Pretty good against a lot of decks, buys you a lot of time, draws cards, that's blue to pitch to Force of Will. A lot to like about Dress Down. And everything else is in service to doing one of these big busted things. Got the cantrips, of course, to find your cards. Crop rotation can find Mosswort Bridge, or it can find Urza Saga and start looking for Dreadnought. The big innovation at the end of my last video, this was a Stifle deck. Like Phyrexian Dreadnought, Stifle, best friends, right? Well, it turns out that not really. Stifle didn't really help the plan of this deck, because Phyrexian Dreadnought showing up just to trigger Mosswort Bridge, and then the game's over because you cast Emrakul, is a much more winning strategy than trying to Dreadnought Stifle, 2-for-1 yourself into a Swords to Plowshares, The stifles themselves don't really move this game plan forward because this isn't a mass resource and kill your opponent quickly kind of deck. It's mostly a combo deck. Stifle doesn't really fit there. You still have the dress downs if you want to sneak a Dreadnought in. I recommended last time just turn those into Veil of Summer. Those shove the show and tell through. If you resolve Veil and then cast show and tell, it's going to work. And Emrakul wins more games than Dreadnought does. So more things that serve big Emrakul were more interesting to me than more things that serve Phyrexian Dreadnought. Simic omni-show for Veil of Summer was just like such a crazy good deck before Modern Horizons 2 was printed. I actually bought a Eureka in real life just in case I wanted to play that deck. And Veil of Summer is the strength of that deck. You're largely creatureless. You win the game on the spot when you do your thing, and just jamming 4 Veils in the main deck lets you do your thing. In the sideboard, there's some counterplay, and there's also some juke. The counterplay Mystical Dispute, that's mostly for Teferi. Luckily, Teferi's kind of on a downswing in Legacy. I don't see a lot of him kicking around these days, but that card is really hard to beat because you can't flash an address down if Teferi's in play. Even if you do, Teferi can just bounce the Dreadnought, and then you have to do it again. Mosswort Bridge doesn't work at all with Teferi in play because you cast the spell as part of the resolution of Mosswort Bridge's ability, and you can't cast sorceries when an ability is resolving. So Teferi just straight up turns off Hideaway. It's a tough sell. Just more Mystical Disputes for Teferi seemed like the right way to go while staying pure Simic. We flesh out the crop rotation package a little bit, Bojuka Bog, Blast Zone, and Boseiju. You could play Karakas in this deck too. I don't think you need it because you can go bigger than a lot of the decks that would want to Karakas you. Like Emrakul just wins those matchups. But Karakas is a card you could put into a crop rotation package. 3 Surgicals to make sure nobody goes faster than us. Shadow Spear. In matchups where we're expecting a ton of combo hate, Shadow Spear can be part of an Urza Saga package, and you could just do fair stuff with the constructs. There was a Retrofitter Foundry in the sideboard too last time I played it, but we never went that fair. That was a little bit too far down the road of pretending to be a fair deck, and I ended up cutting that. There are still Uros though. None of your main deck combos use the graveyard, so opponents shouldn't really be bringing in graveyard hate, but if they're planning to beat up on Show and Tell or Phyrexian Dreadnought, Uro's a pretty good juke on that. In the last league I played, we got absolutely handled by a deck with Ensnaring Bridge in it. We're just not good against Ensnaring Bridge. The deck is full of big creatures, and that's the only plan. Force of Vigor, great coverage for that sort of thing. And the one card that I considered for the 75, but couldn't find room for, is Life from the Loam, which seems kind of crazy in a combo deck, and it wouldn't be a main deck card, but we are a Wasteland deck, we are a Saga deck, we are a Crop Rotation deck, and we are an Uro deck. Life from the Loam, like if you want to rebuild your sideboard to be heavier on the fair juke, I think 2 Loams is perfectly viable. I don't want to go that way myself, but it's there if you want it. It's a thought that I had. This is the version of Aeon Bridge that I'm excited about. We'll see how Veil of Summer stacks up versus Stifle as we play through this league. I think we're going to like it. Let's go do this thing. Got a bit of a heartbreaker here in round 1. If this Boseiju were a blue source of mana, I would have 2 Phyrexian Dreadnoughts on turn 3, protected by Force of Will. But it's not. I don't think I can keep this hand. I'm going to send it. I'm much more interested in this. At least this one has bridges and it's going somewhere. I'm going to keep. And even though I have Show and Tell, I still think I want to put Grizzlebrand on the bottom. Yeah. He's out of here. Windswept Heath. Okay. Are we going to be going fast as possible versus elves, or are we going to be contending with Wasteland? All right, looks like fast as possible versus elves. Force of Will. Perfect timing against Allosaurus Shepherd. Several more Force of Wills. There's actually a fun thing happening here where I can use Mosswort Bridge as color fixing to cast Show and Tell if I don't find a blue source. Among the options there, that was the best one. Yep. Elvish Visionary, can't counter it. Now I'm wishing I kept the Grizzlebrand. Okay, I can end step Dress Down, untap Dreadnought, and cast Show and Tell next turn. A Dress Down also lets me Force of Will if I need to. Yeah, I think this is a place I want to be. I can't Dress Down and Force of Will and Phyrexian Dreadnought, because then the Dress Down would die in this end step. It's one or the other. Heritage Druid. Okay. I hope they just go nuts and overextend into Dress Down. That's my best case scenario here. Elvish Visionary. It's in. Here's the Zenith for 1. Probably going to get Wirewood Symbiote. Yep. Now I'm in kind of an awkward spot where I think I need to be saving Dress Down Force of Will to just be alive at all next turn. If there was an Emrakul under the Mosswort Bridge, I would just be winning right now. But instead, I'm not. Moment of truth here. Do I want Phyrexian Dreadnought in play that can tangle with fairly large creatures? I don't think that's the way, though. Another Mosswort Bridge. Let's find something to get paid. Come on, deck. There's so many cards without an Emrakul. Alright, I'll put the other Dress Down under here, because now I can kind of like end step Dress Down if I'm not just dead. That's the step number 1. If I'm not just dead, I can end step Dress Down, cast Phyrexian Dreadnought, move to my next end step, then cast the Dress Down out from under Mosswort Bridge, and then Dress Down's in play for their whole turn. And then I get a turn to start doing stuff. Okay, here's Natural Order. Time to Dress Down. Draw for Dress Down. And I am going to force the Natural Order. I might not have to. Like, Craterhoof can just arrive as a 5/5, and then they pass the turn. But I can just keep a 5/5 from coming into play here. The cost is I lose Show and Tell, but I can Show and Tell anyway with the Dreadnought. Drop Rotation. I could spin up another Mosswort Bridge. I can use Brainstorm. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. And Crop Rotation can shuffle. Oh. Alright. We probably just win here. Okay. I don't need the Seiju. And I don't need Dreadnought at this point. Oh wait, shit. That was my blue source. I need to survive another turn. How do I do that? Oh wait, I can crop rotate for a blue source. Then yeah, okay, we're fine. We're fine. Relax. I saw it. Okay, put back Beseiju, play Yavimaya, use Yavimaya to crop rotation. They would have to have something truly horrific in their hand to beat this Emrakul Omniscience. Get Tropical Island and Show and Tell. Please don't have Reclamation Sage. Science. The hoof was in your hand. Okay, your creatures are pretty big. Here's Emrakul. They do have enough permanents that they can survive an Emrakul hit, but I can Dress Down on their turn because of Emrakul out from under Mosswort Bridge. And I can Force of Will. Alright, yeah, I think we won this one. Sacrifice 6 permanents. 6 is so many permanents. I have won games where I've been annihilated for 6, and I've lost games where I've annihilated for 6. I don't think this is going to be either of those cases, though. They left Allosaurus Shepherd and Hermit Druid, or not Hermit Druid, Heritage Druid. Hermit Druid's not allowed in this format. Their plan is probably land, elf, something, or their plan is just concede. Having the value Dress Down under the Mosswort Bridge is awesome. Okay, figured it out. Just had to buy enough time. Playing against elves. They didn't see Dreadnought. Elves is probably going to use primarily discard spells to mess with me. Blast Zone can mess up an elf board if I have a bunch of mana. Blast Zone is probably better than Beseiju. I don't mind Lotus Petal at all. That helps me go fast against this combo deck. I like Veil versus the discard that they probably have. I think that's all I'm going to do. Just pretty solid main deck. Show and Tell historically, really good against elves. His hand rules. Keep. I can have 2 Dreadnoughts on turn 3. That might not be enough to beat a good elf's hand, but hopefully they kept some crazy clunker that doesn't go that fast. Here's the real decision. I can Mosswort Bridge and try to set up that angle of the deck, or I can play Urza Saga and have 2 Dreadnoughts on turn 3. In Mosswort Bridge would happen turn 4 then. Yeah, let's do Dreadnought stuff. Urza Saga pass. I'm just going to try to race here. Just chipping it. I guess Force of Vigor is terrifying here. Did just find Omniscience, though. And the show and tell's in my hand. Like, both plans are just chugging forward right now. I guess Cradle. A good one. There is a Wasteland in my deck. In the end step, I get Tropical Island and cast Stress Down. This stays in play. Oh, I drew Force of Will. Too easy. I'm going to float a colorless, and I'm going to crop rotate. I'm going to get the Wasteland. Take out their Cradle. I think that's better than Dryad Arbor. Not sure I care about that. And search my deck for a 1-drop. How about Phyrexian Dreadnought? Then cast Phyrexian Dreadnought with my floating mana. And we get to Mossword Bridge. Legacy Magic, folks. Last Zone or Ponder, or it just doesn't matter. They're freaking dead. Double Force of Will backup. Glad we got to just flex both halves of the deck. 2 games, 2 different plans. Let's go.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the play in round 2, I'm going to keep this hand. I got stuff to do. I got Veil of Summers. I'm just going to Misty and pass rather than Ponder. I don't know what they're doing yet. I don't know if I need to fetch a basic. I don't know anything, basically. I'm going to wait for more information. Throw Mox. All right. Might be a good matchup for Veil of Summer. Unless they pitch a red card. Who pitched Opposition Agent? Shit. Well, they pitched an Oppo. That means they have another one, probably. A lot of Veil of Summer. All right. I got to just not get Oppo'd, and I should be okay. But we'll see who can blink first. I'm not cracking this. It's just not going to happen. You have a Maya? At least I hit my land drop, but I did just make Ancient Tomb less painful. Triple Veil of Summer against Mono Black, but I'm still in trouble. What a world. Got the Voidwalker. I'm going to Veil in response. That way Veil doesn't end up in the void, but I still get to cycle it. Draw a card here. Emrakul, you got it. That's actually kind of terrifying, because if this ends up in the graveyard somehow, they get an Emrakul. Untap Blue Source. Uh-oh. Alright. Well, the fear of Opposition Agent, and by fear I mean certainty, right? Come on, cast a discard spell. Give me Veil of Summer action. Okay, Force of Will. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Unfortunately, they could Oppo twice here if they were so inclined. Can't imagine that's where they're going to go, though. And I guess they could. Alright, well, it's time. I drew Force. This is my time to make a play. Force. Pitching. I'm going to pitch Ponder because I think Brainstorm is better here. Got some stuff I need to change about my hand. Didn't have the second Oppo. Sweet relief. Brainstorm. Okay, another land while the shields are down. I'm going to get rid of Emrakul. This is only dangerous right now. And I guess I probably don't need Brainstorm that much. My plan this game is Incept Dress Down, make 2 Dreadnoughts, protect them with Veil of Summer. Beginning and end of plan. So, what ended up in the void? There's a Force of Will, a Ponder, a Brainstorm, and some lands. Okay. Hum of Obedience sucks, but I can dress down the Voidwalker and not die right away. Yeah, that sucks ass, though. We are gonna lose next turn. Took us like 1 turn too many to figure this out. I would have been attacking for 24. 2 turns out. Oh, and with Force of Will under the Voidwalker, but then they have to sack the Voidwalker. That doesn't matter. Oh my god, they did it on my turn? I get to Dreadnought? This is where their mill 1 hits Emrakul. Not like I really have a follow-up plan for this. Draw for turn. Yeah, with Helm in play, yeah, they just do it again. Ponder can't get me Boseiju and a land to use Boseiju. There's 1 Pithing Needle in the deck. Alright, main deck Pithing Needle. Save me. That's not it. Shuffle. Fingers crossed. And we're dead. Well, okay. I can play a Dreadnought now. Hope that they wait till my upkeep again and I can dress down them a second time. And I need them to mess up here, basically. If they just helm right now, I'm going to concede. Okay. I figured it out. Yeah, they did have to combo kill me there. No fair plan. There was no rotting Regisaur or whatever that was going to beat my double Dreadnought, but they did string it together when they needed to. So, good job. Brazen Borrower is coming in. I'm not bringing in Uro against the deck with 8 main deck. Leyline of the Voids. Force of Vigor is relevant. Yeah, if I had just known the matchup and cracked my fetch land before the Chrome Mox and printed a black card, I win that game 1,000 times out of 1,000. But I didn't know that, and we got to play chicken for a while. There's not really cards I want to cut from the deck. In Pithing Needle, maybe Lotus Petal. Speed isn't really my object here. Gets me Brazen Borrower. I'm not going to wasteland this deck. That gives me Force of Vigor. The room for one more. Could cut a Dreadnought, but that's like the whole fair plan. It's also the enabler off Mosswort Bridge. I think there's only room for the 2. Ugh. No colored mana here. No real plan. I'm going to mulligan. What does this one do? Also not much. We have been hurting on blue mana. I don't know if it's just small sample size and variance, but 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 blue sources out of 20 lands. Yeah, maybe that's not enough. Maybe we need more drops or more fetches. I'm going to go to 5. Okay, this hand functions. I'm going to keep. This might be the rare, fair Urza Saga hand. I'm going to send Force of Will because it doesn't have a blue card to pitch, and I think I'm actually going to send Dreadnought as well. That's weird, but I think it's true. I could send the Needle, and then when Saga pops 3 turns from now, all right, I'm going to send the Needle. Okay, I'm going to play my Misty Rainforest and pass the turn. I'll see it coming this time. I can fetch in response to Chrome Mox if they have acceleration. Okay, yep. The game after I have Veil of Summers in my hand. You find your Thoughtseizes. I don't want to draw those cards I just bottom, so I'm not going to fetch yet. Don't need to. Now I have Ponder. Pass this Ponder. Rest down. Okay. That's good news. Here is the Saga. And I have a line on 2 Dreadnoughts. I could even cast 1 Dreadnought next turn, and then make different decisions after that for the other cards. There's this jerk. I could just dress down Dreadnought right now. I think I'd rather have 2 of them, though. I can search up the Pithing Needle. You won't be able to oppo me because... Oh, wait. I'm searching up Dreadnought, but I probably should search up Needle. And I'm going to have dress down in play so oppo doesn't work. Arn the Great Creator. I mean, can't do anything about it. Go nuts. Love Obedience. Yep. In my end step, I'm going to dress down. That draws a Dreadnought. Get another draw here. The land. I'm going to float colorless, and I should crop rotate this away while I can. What do I want to get with this? Probably a Mosswort Bridge. And I found an Omniscience under here. That's a start. The search for Pithing Needle, named Helm of Obedience. Karn is a big, stupid asshole face, as he tends to be. Ported out Wasteland, which would be pretty fine here. I can rotate for another Mosswort Bridge. I should at least crack my fetch, while I know I'm not getting oppoed. I actually am going to crop rotation Beseiju away into another Mosswort Bridge right now. Is that better than another Saga? Probably. Go big or go home. Ugh. Guess we're going home. Right, I'll put dress down under this one. I'm all in. I have a giant creature, but they have Karn. If they have anything in their sideboard that can remove or stop this Dreadnought, they're in good shape. Nothing went into the void because dress down was active the whole time. They could plus Karn on Pithing Needle and cast a removal spell. That's a way to remove it. See what happens. Karn's making a wish. Yep, ensnaring bridge. No surprise there. Force of Vigor and Brazen Borrower are in the deck. And their hand is big enough to stop Dreadnought, but not small enough to stop Voidwalker. They can just crunch for 3s. Gonna need to find one of my outs here. Grizzlebrand is good this turn. Emrakul. I mean, I can just time walk here. Let's put Omniscience into play. And cast Emrakul off the top. Little dangerous putting this one into play because if they can remove this somehow, it goes into the void. I don't think it's time to cantrip with Dress Down just yet. Like, I could do it now and then just go to my bonus turn. Important to note, a Karakas in the deck would give me infinite turns with Omniscience, and I could just draw my deck till I'm happy here. All right, whatever. Let's get something going with Omniscience. Grizzlebrand. Removal spell. That wasn't it. Okay. I don't know if I should have passed the turn there, but I did. I'm just worried that this Dothy Voidwalker is so close to killing me that I want to hide the Dress Down, and maybe I don't need to be. Sees. Okay, sure. Enjoy the show and tell. Any playable card would have been cast already. I have Omniscience in play. And I'm worried about an end step Dress Down because then if I find Grizzlebrand, I can't activate it and do what I need to do. So I can Dress Down and block. That works. Yeah. Okay. We figured it out, team. Shadow is an ability, after all. I'm going to double block just in case. I don't know what might happen here, but shut it down. Make sure it's all the way shut down. That takes the pressure off removing Pithing Needle because now they don't have a Leyline in play either, a void effect. And I'm not slowly losing. And Karn will figure this out eventually. I'm also just a deck with Emrakul in it if they want to start. I was going to say if they want to start blasting me with Fair Helms, but they can't Fair Helm either because Pithing Needle stops both fair and unfair Helms. The replacement Karn stuff. We could get Lattice here. Right, it's coding. Lattice doesn't even stop me though because I have Omniscience. I don't need to activate my lands. All right, deck. Time to produce a way to remove Ensnaring Bridge. Or a cantrip or something that digs for it. Yep, don't care. All right, here we go. Cast Brainstorm with Omniscience. Let's go. Another Emrakul and another Mosswort Bridge. That's actually great. I can use Mosswort Bridge to clear these cards off the top of my deck. There's Force of Vigor. Now I play Emrakul, take an extra turn, untap, and win. We did it. I don't think I've ever had to choose which Emrakul I wanted in play before. That was fun. A little legend rule. Alrighty. And let's do this thing. Force of Vigor. Target Ensnaring Bridge and Liquid Metal Coating. And we're coming in. Attack my opponent directly. Definitely going to make room for that third Force of Vigor now that I know they're a Karn version of this deck. Bang! That was an awesome game. Force of Vigor, get in immediately. Not sure I want Wasteland. I think just going fast is the plan and making sure it works. I do think I need both plans at full capacity here. Crop Rotation's risky against the Oppo Agent deck. Maybe Crop Rotation is the cut, though it is really good. But yeah, I'm going to just move in that direction. It's also a green card for Force of Vigor that I just got from my deck. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. This sideboard is obviously not mapped optimally for the mono black card matchup. If they turn one Oppo, I'm in trouble. Anything else is fine. I'm going to keep. I'm just ready with Omniscience Emrakul. Had the Mold to 6, had the turn 0 Leyline. Okay. This could be a Dark Ritual for Oppo. God, I hate that. No respect. Fetch. You either high rolled me or you didn't. Okay. Tropical Island. We're good. We're in the clear. I am gonna brainstorm or ponder. There's a Dreadnought. A second Show and Tell is kind of cool. And Brainstorm is cool too. Let's race. I gotta hope if I get Thoughtseize this turn, they take the Show and Tell, not the Emrakul. Him to Turok. Hit my Beseiju. That sucks. Hit Beseiju and one of the Brainstorms. And now I need to find a land for any of this to work. I'm gonna brainstorm. Fucking A. Okay. Guess I'll put back 2 of the show and tells and play Saga. No land, no love, no life. Saga can at least move towards getting Pithing Needle. Ponder. Come on now. This is a shuffle. Hold on. Oh no. Do I want the dress down? I can dress down in my upkeep. No, I need to shuffle this. What am I even saying? Yeah, this is bad. And I can still just draw the land at any point and get after it. I need to dodge Ancient Tomb, Dark Ritual, and something that accelerates, like Bromox. Karn, annoying, but I can still win. And if they just wish for Ensnaring Bridge, put it in their hand in case I show and tell, that's tough. Oh, I'm tutoring the needle. Come on, land, untap land. Oh god. I think I should still dress down. Or no, that doesn't even work. I don't have enough mana to do all of that. Yeah, they can helm me next turn. Damn it. Bucking him to Turok, man. Helm of Obedience. Put it down. Yeah, maybe I have to dress down just to draw a card. Yeah, I need to actually... Ugh. Okay. This is how this goes. And having the Lotus Petal in my deck wouldn't even help to tutor for because Karn is in play. And I'm going to start losing all of my everythings. I don't think this game is winnable. Not from this spot. I need to draw Force of Vigor right now. I guess that's the answer. Force of Vigor. Down. Okay. No, I'm good. That one was just him to Turok. Luck of the draw. It both had to hit a land, and I then had to not draw a land for the next 3 turns. And both of those things happened. The Show and Tell Omniscience Emrakul is just rolled up here, and we have perfect information about their hand, and it doesn't stop that from happening. But yeah, just slamming spells onto this deck. GG's. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 3. Double Omniscience in hand is ugly. Can't cast this Brainstorm. Once again, no blue sources in the hand. This is something that needs to be fixed about the list. I'm going to mulligan this. This one I'm more interested in. I'm going to send one of the Dreadnoughts. Hope this isn't a Wasteland matchup. It's going to ponder. See where we end up. Hopefully find some Mossword Bridges. Oh god. Going to shuffle away all these non-lands. Crop rotation. Okay. That's a start or something. No! Oh, I hate Magic. Quit. Alright. I had another land the whole time. If they wasteland this one, I can crop rotate it. Please wasteland me. Yes, yes, yes. Walk directly into my trap. And I am going to get Mossword Bridge and try to get something going here. Emrakul under the bridge. Get some land drops, please. Don't have a third wasteland. I'm not ready for that. Okay, a swamp wasteland deck. Is this just pox? Come on, lands. Well, as far as non-lands go, that one's a good one. Him to Turok me. Ready. Dark Ritual, yikes. I mean, this does target, right? Target opponent. Yeah, it does. Okay. Count it. I don't need to counter this 2/1 creature. Should be able to beat that. Okay, found a land. And found the next land. We're cooking now. They're getting Emrakul next turn if they don't find something in between. And even if they find a Wasteland, both of my things are Emrakul. And I have Force of Will. All right. Let's go. That's a lock, Dwayne. Yeah, this is some sort of Pox for sure. Pox usually has Edict effects. Gotta watch out for that. Dark Ritual. And everyone's into Karn these days. Come on. Get out of here. Okie dokie. Let's go. Phyrexian Dreadnought. In response to its trigger. Which one do I want to cast? I have so many choices. Here's Emrakul. Are you dead? And let's go to my bonus turn. Now, even if they have Edict, I can cast the other Emrakul in response. They're about to be at 5 life with 0 permanence. And I can play the second Emrakul and take another turn and just kill them without even giving them a chance to untap. Yeah, they don't need to see it though. So far, main deck Veil of Summer has been a rock star. Another Karn deck, Force of Vigor is coming in, and the Brazen Borrower is coming in. Pox deck is different from the Leyline Helm deck. Like all those Wastelands. Burrow's pretty good against Pox. I'm going to try not to Pithing Needle this opponent. I'm just going to want to go faster than that. Unless they show me something different in game 2. The Lotus Petal being able to tutor that could have come up last game, but Karn blanks that anyway. Crop rotation's great versus Wasteland. I definitely would have lost that game if I couldn't crop rotate the second Wasteland. Alright, I think I have to shave the Lotus Petal. Just strictly based on deck space here. I like Force of Will. Do I need every Dress Down? Dress Down lets me get scrappy with Dreadnought. I need every Dreadnought. Dreadnought turns on the bridge, so yes. And Show and Tell's pretty bad against discard spells. Like they can beat up my payoff or take the Show and Tell itself, but trying to overload them is the plan. I think it's a Dress Down or a Force of Will. I mean, the Ponder is just sort of sitting over here too, but putting a Ponder feels like heresy to me, but I know some combo decks have done it in the past. Like the Epic Storm used to board out Ponder in some matchups, and now they don't even play Ponder. There is precedence for this. Okay, I'm going to shave the Ponder. Might be crazy, but let's go. 2 lands, 2 Emrakul's Omniscience. This hand is pretty good against what? I'm going to mulligan this. I guess Brainstorm would have done a lot of work there. Okay, I'm into this one. I'm going to bottom one of the Force of Wills. I don't think I need 2 of that. And this one gets to Ponder and Dress Down off of basic. I get to see a lot of cards here. Okay. Leyline is involved. Thoughtseize. Alright, have a peek. Enjoy. You want the Show and Tell or the Ponder? I think those are the 2 choices. Unless they have like a crazy Dark Ritual turn for turn 2, and then they take the Force of Will. Force of Will it is. Alright, that's scary. Time to draw Veil of Summer. Mosswort Bridge, too easy, let's go. Put Omniscience under the bus. In the Wasteland deck, we've seen it. Wade Walker, okay. That's always a scary card to see with your Show and Tell deck. I think I'm going to go for... I'm going to hold up Dress Down in case that's important, and then go for an end step big Brainstorm. Into Turok, huh? Alright, let's Brainstorm in response to that one. Come on, Veil of Summer. Ugh. I mean, Force of Will is not the worst thing. Not what I wanted, though. Under Seiju and multiple Dress Downs. I'm gonna shuffle this. Okay. I have Show and Tell for Emrakul next turn. If I don't get beat before then. There is a Force of Will in the Void if they just hold it up. And if I draw Dreadnought, I can Omniscience the Emrakul instead of showing it. Green, Mana Source. Okay. Here's Show and Tell. What I got. They could show me some scary stuff. They could just put Helm into play and kill me. But here we go. No Helm, no whammies. Also just any Edict effect. Liliana, Sudden Edict, just whatever. Puts Emrakul into the Void. That's not a Helm. Now we got a Fade and Edict for 1 turn. Just let me turn this thing sideways. Tapping mana. Okay, I'm out of here. GG. Okay, the Helm thing is actually happening. Still not convinced Pithing Needle is the solution to that. Like, I have the Force of Vigors, the Force of Wills, and the Brazen Barbers now. Veil Summers. Yeah, fuck your couch. Here's my deck. Going back in with the exact same configuration. Okay, this hand is kind of a banger. I'm going to keep it. I've got Bridge and Show and Tell. I got a good thing to show. And Boseiju can mess with their combo and lock pieces. Let's try it. You really hate to see it. I'm going to put Crop Rotation under the Bridge. Kind of hoping they just knee-jerk wasteland this thing. I'm not worried about what's under it. I'm going to play the Misty Rainforest. They're representing Dark Ritual Oppo Agent, but they have to leave up mana forever if that's the plan. Do I play around Oppo Agent and delay my Show and Tell by a turn to do it? I think so. Because now I can fetch, and if they Oppo, I dress down, and I just fetch anyway. And the way this game has gone, they haven't really come out guns blazing or really done anything, which makes me not in a hurry to jam Show and Tell, because it'll probably get... Grizzle will get Sudden Edicted. Your agent, don't care. Press down. Force of Will. A Tropical Island. Go to my turn. How about a Dreadnought? How about a Dreadnought, we said? Brainstorm. I'm going to Brainstorm now while I can still fetch. Veil of Summer is a nice find. Yeah, Sudden Edict is just such a beating. I can't just Show and Tell Grizzlebrand here. I'm going to put back Forest and its Force of Vigor. Like with Boseiju in my hand, I don't think I need 2 of that effect. And I'm going to shuffle this. There's a Saga. Cool. That does play into the Oppo Agent eventually. Like, I don't get to search for Dreadnought. Having Veil of Summer in my hand for the first time in the match is nice, though. 4 of those in the main deck. Come to Tarak me. Let's go. Yeah, this might be a fair construct game. Just make some 2/2s. Hang out. This one needs to get Force of Willed, I think. So I am sitting on the Boseiju, specifically for the reason of beating up whatever Karn does. Oh, I'm going to force pitching the Ponder. Hate to lose the Ponder when I don't really have anything going on. But I don't want to play against Karn. Dress Down is actually my best draw. Or land. Didn't really want that. They're going to get to search my deck. I think it's just Dreadnoughts in my deck right now, though. Yeah, I boarded out the Needle and the Petal. Is there another one I brought in? No. That's all of them. It's just Dreadnoughts. Yeah, they can have a Dreadnought. Enjoy that. Taking my 3 and doing fair Saga things. Never my goal, but here we are. The fair Saga things do play around Edicts, though. Just like having all these creatures into play lets this Grizzlebrand get a whole lot better. And they can search for a Dreadnought here. They can't discard spell me because I have Veil. I am kind of moving in the right direction here. Oswart Bridge. Let's find a banger. Omniscience. Yes, please. And I can play Boseiju as a land next turn if I need to. Missed an attack there, but that's cool. Maybe I'll keep Oppo Agent back for a turn. Yeah, if I can Show and Tell, put in Grizzlebrand, activate Oswart Bridge, put in Omniscience, at anything resembling a healthy life total. Oppo is still attacking. They're clearly not worried about it. What does this mean? If I block and they have 2 Edicts, that clears the way for them to get in. I'm just going to go to 9 here. Toxic Deluge for 2. Okay. They are absolutely clearing the way for an Edict right now. Wasteland, please go after this one. Sucker. Okay. Grizzlebrand no longer activates the Mosswort Bridge. I need some additional action here. I can Veil first, and then Grizzlebrand. I could also Grizzlebrand, draw 7 cards, it dies, then I'm at 2 with 7 fresh cards in my hand. But if they get something too, like any creature kills me, wow. This is the danger zone. Is it getting better if I don't do anything, though? Probably not. Okay, here we go. Show and tell. Grizzlebrand. I'm gonna draw 7 immediately. I expect this to die, and they did have a 2-power creature. Yeah, I know. Now I need an answer to this Oppo agent in these 7 cards. Brazen Borrower is on the scene. Does get me in the right direction. 9 cards in my hand. Petty Theft to this opposition agent. And I'll go to discard and lose Misty Rainforest. They know they have Oppo anyway. I can Emrakul them this turn if they don't mess up my hand first. Replay agent and pass the turn, please. Cool. Start. No, Wasteland. I hate it. Hit the Urza Saga. Oh my god. No respect at all. No respect at all. Okay. Play Boseiju as a land. Play Phyrexian Dreadnought as a creature. Can I get Dress Down in as well? I can. So if I Dress Down Dreadnought, then Omniscience. Yeah, okay. It also turns off Oppo. Dress Down. This lets me insulate against Edict. Now I have 2 big bangers. And I still get the extra turn off Emrakul because that happens before she's in play. And I can flash in Brazen Borrower. Or is this is from hand, isn't it? Yeah, spells from hand. Never mind. Doesn't quite do what I need it to do. Yeah, sure. Build my Dreadnought. That was definitely the most important thing going on. LOL. Omniscience. Cast Emrakul. I hope you like having no permanence at all. Yeah! Yeah, they got a little too clever with their Wasteland, going after Saga instead of Mosswort Bridge. This is like the whole combo engine. Go after this. What are you doing? Yikes. All right, we got away with one. Keep it going. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the play for round 4. This is not a keeper. I would keep it with a Tropical Island. Mulligan. Oh yeah. Let's go. Keep this one. I'm going to send Emrakul to the bottom. I'm in the market for a blue source. Even if they mess up my bridges, Dress Down Double Dreadnought is live. Ugh. I guess I'll put Needle under here. I guess which one would I rather have kicking around in my deck? Yeah, I'm just going to play this as get a card I don't want out of my deck and hope that this isn't a Pithing Needle matchup. Wasteland Fuel. Mosswort Bridge. Omniscience is the one here. Really need a land here. I think I will Veil of Summer if they just ponder. Alright, ponder. Veil of Summer for the cantrip. It's a little desperate, but look what's going on here. I need it. Wow, they shuffled and missed. Dangerous. Well, we might end up in a one-armed slap fight in a second here if I don't find mine. Starting Uro. Oh no. Well, opponent, you've found a worthy adversary. Brainstorm, okay. Caracas. That one isn't too bad. Force of Will, come on, man. Come on! Oh, now we're just running lands. We're in trouble. Come on, blue source, Another Veil of Summer, okay. I'm gonna have to discard something. I think it's a Dreadnought. Maybe it's Ponder. Yeah, I'm gonna discard Ponder, actually. As soon as I find the blue source, I'm not going to use it to cast Ponder. I'm going to use it to go completely insane with Dreadnoughts and Emrakuls. If there's a Brainstorm, I'm going to Veil again. Use it as a cantrip. You know, my important protection spell for my deck. Just sadly cantripping. Well, I'm going to go for Omniscience here. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Cast Omniscience. I have Force of Will to back it up. We know they have 7 spells in hand. Not really where I want to be. Okay, that doesn't matter. Wait, does it matter? You may play the card exiled without paying its mana cost if creatures... Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was you can't activate this unless you have these, but yeah, that does matter. You got me. You understood the assignment. All right, I'm going to try that again next turn. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Is this a card I want to play against? Probably not. I'm going to force pitching Show and Tell. The Show and Tell doesn't really matter against Krakus anyway. And okay, they forced pitching Force. Figured there was a good chance they'd fight over Jace anyway. That got 2 forces out of their hand. Did not make a land drop. Okay, I'm going to try this again. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Oh, they did have the Force. Brutal. Third Force. I'm going to put Force... Nope, that doesn't make any sense. What do I want to put under this? Because I get to tutor up a Dreadnought next turn, come straight into play, then I get to do stuff. I can use Force of Will. No, I can't, because I have to use green to cast the Omniscience at all. And the colorless floating doesn't actually do anything. I guess I'll put Force of Will under there. Weird game, but now we're behind a Dreadnought, or a Jace. They are running out of forces. And I just need like 1 second, 1 priority. Oh no, choose wrong, choose wrong, choose wrong. Oh, they went after Saga. Okay, that's fair. I have been activating... Oh, fuck. Well, I have been activating this Mosswort Bridge every time, though it's not even a shell game. I've told them straight up which one I care the most about. I know there's a Dreadnought on bottom of my deck where it's not helpful. And now we're waste locked from here. Oh, that was so close. And I learned an important thing about how my deck works. Whoops. Mystical Dispute coming in. Seiju Who Shelters All coming in. Don't like that they're a Wasteland deck. Don't like whoever the smart person was who figured out that Wasteland is good in control decks. I think Needle can name Wasteland if I'm worried about that, which I am. They saw Show and Tell. I did pitch it to Force of Will. I don't think this matchup's about speed for the Lotus Petal. Not even really about Veil of Summer, though that card would have been good at multiple points. I think Veil and Dispute are pretty comparable, but Dispute can also be used on defense. Veil is just on offense, like trying to shove my spell through. I can't Veil of Summer adjacent Mind Sculptor and it doesn't resolve, but I can do that with Mystical Dispute. Crop Rotation's good against Wasteland and bad against counterspells, and their deck has both. Right, I'm shaving Needle. Let's do it that way. Gotta just attack hard, attack heavy. I'll keep this one. It needs some help, but it has basic land with Ponder and Brainstorm. Urza Saga's here to do stuff. Another Saga. I don't think I want any of this. Shuffle it. Press down's pretty cool. Portent. Okay. Well, we got some spice. I would suspect Triumph of St. Catherine, but that card's not legal on Magic Online yet, though it is getting some heat in real life. I am going to Saga and start the Fair Saga stuff. That's an angle that this deck has to respect. Mosswort Bridge. Bummer. Okay. I think I'm just going to Brainstorm, Fetch, play Dress Down this turn instead of making Saga tokens. Or I could invest in the future and just... Yeah, that's really interesting. God, if I get to Ferried here. Burrow. Alright. Burrow's cool. I didn't bring in my Relic of Progenitus. Hopefully, if my deck executes on any of the angles it's supposed to, I can just go over the top. I think I'm going to go for the Brainstorm plus Dress Down thing. 2 Dreadnoughts definitely in now. Get rid of 2 of these Emrakul's. Fetch a Tropical Island and cast Dress Down. Didn't counter the Dress Down. We got some Dreadnoughts coming in. Float with Saga. Put in a Dress Down. Play a Dreadnought. Play a Mosswort Bridge. Got Emrakul under the bus. And I'm going to Brainstorm. I guess I'm going to Brainstorm first, guaranteed an Emrakul under the bus. Don't know why I'm calling it the bus. That's what it is. And no Show and Tell showed up on this. I'm going to hide the big clunkers. Mystical Dispute is in my hand for interaction. Crop Rotation can interact in some sort of way. And they're also just... They can attack for 24, and they have 22 life points. Well, fuck me. Alright, Supreme Verdict's in their deck. I'm now having a bad time. I can Crop Rotate now get an Urza Saga, and then it'll be immediately on chapter 2. And I can protect it with Mystical Dispute. I'm going to do that. Grab Saga. That also clears those cards I didn't want off the top of my deck. Chapter 1 when it comes into play. Chapter 2 in my draw step. Mosswort Bridge. Load up. Under Veil of Summer Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand is the biggest hit. I don't want to get too clever here. And I'm just going to hold up Force of Will and Mystical Dispute and try to get Emrakul on the stack this turn. That's not Wasteland. They cast Uro. I am going to Mystical Dispute it. Am I going to Mystical Dispute this? What does my turn look like? So they just get Uro. If this puts in Wasteland, I'll be really disappointed. All right, I am going to dispute. Oven's Veto. Okay, that's fine. Don't put in Wasteland. Fingers crossed. Mystic Sanctuary getting Supreme Verdict. That's fine. You won't be able to cast that card when I'm through with you. Draw for turn. Float colorless. Phyrexian Dreadnought is in play. Would rather Emrakul. Oh no! I clicked backwards? Come on. Hate this. Hate this so much. Yep, misclicked. I activated Mosswort Bridge and paid with Mosswort Bridge rather than doing the opposite, which is actually the same, but matters a lot that it's different. Ugh. All right, I'll try to blast an Omniscience through anyway. Right, backup plan. Show and tell. Put in Omniscience. Put in Caracas. That's fine. Emrakul. I hope this does what it needs to. Drop rotation this Mosswort Bridge out of here. Wasteland is in the deck. Do I even care about Caracas? Probably. Wasteland your Caracas. I have an extra turn on the stack here. Okay. Yeah, Grizzlebrand ended up working anyway, barely, but that was definitely a misclick. Right, Supreme Verdict. That card makes me way less interested in Phyrexian Dreadnought as a plan. So they can't have more than one of those. One Dreadnought's still pretty good. Is there something I could replace one Dress Down with that I'd be happier about having? Could go for the Veil or the Relic. Veil does beat Dovin's Veto. A ridiculous card that we saw. Yeah, I'm gonna cut Dress Down for one of the Veils I cut. This is not going anywhere. I'm gonna mulligan. I mean, I can crop rotation a land into a land that makes mana, but that's not what that's for. All in. Okay. What does this one do? A pretty reasonable fair Saga plan. Have Omniscience and Emrakul in hand. I can do the turn 2 Dreadnought thing. Or turn 3 Dreadnought. Even protect it with Mystical Dispute. I'm kind of on a fair Saga thing. I'm going to bottom Omniscience. Ponder resolves. Okay, Force of Will. I'm going to Mystical Dispute that. My deck does have a lot of 1-drops in it. Kind of hoping they force me back and then I just kill them with Urza Saga without casting a spell. But they didn't give me that pleasure. Oh good, Omniscience found its way back into my hand. Wasteland, disappointing. At least they went after the correct land, and by correct I mean one that's good for me. Urza Saga again. Please don't cast Life from the Loam. I cannot beat it. Brainstorm. Ponder. Goes to shuffle. And miss the land drop. But I need a land drop now too, or my advantage doesn't matter. All right, we got there. And I don't feel too bad about giving them access to green because they already have it. Saga game plan, let's go. Not even sure what Saga tutor targets are in my deck right now. Ooh. The show and tell is exciting. Maybe. I hope I left literally anything other than Dreadnoughts in. I did not. Okay, do I want to leave Dreadnoughts in the deck or just delete one so I don't draw it? I'll just delete one so I don't draw it. Constructs are briefly 3/3s. We were halfway there. That Brainstorm, you got it. Maybe. So I did not take a pause that I should have taken in my draw step. I saw that I drew Show and Tell. I knew that my Saga was about to die. I should have rotated the Saga into Boseiju, who shelters all. Big Boseiju. And resolve Show and Tell Omniscience Emrakul next turn, rather than whatever this shit is that I'm trying to do. deck. I don't deserve it, but can I have a land, please? Maybe. The answer is maybe. Wander. Okay. Can I have exactly the land that I should have tutored for last turn, but I didn't? Thank you. Please and thank you. Okay, chip it. They can Uro this turn, but I get to Omniscience Emrakul. If they wasteland the Boseiju, I'll crop rotate the Boseiju away, and at least I'll have 3 lands to make shoot my shot with Force of Will backup. I'd prefer it's just completely uncounterable. Of course. There is Uro. This is not my fight. Baraka, sure. That's pretty good for someone who doesn't have Omniscience in play. Boseiju beats Dovin's Veto. And make sure I tap for the correct type of mana. I don't accidentally make green with the Avamaya. Science. And Science gives me a free Force of Will as well. If they can like bounce Emrakul and attack the Omniscience. Alright, we did it! Muscled through. I missed a line on Boseiju, but then just found it anyway. I can say from the other side, I've been the Uro deck in these matchups enough times. Show and Tell's a nightmare, and especially when they have Boseiju who shelters all. Yikes. We did it! On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in the last round. That might be 5 die rolls I won. It might be 4. I definitely won most of them. Nobody checked the tape. We're not going to talk about it, because I'm never that lucky. Speaking of never that lucky, this hand's a mulligan. Again, definitely one of my things I'm going to do in the wrap-up is add more blue sources to the deck. This hand, much better. Well, by much better, I mean might do something. Still doesn't have a blue source, but it's got something resembling a plan. I have Mosswort Bridge and Dreadnought. I'm a green source away from making this happen. And Urza Saga can be the green source. The Lotus Petal is in the deck right now. My opponent, Mana Drain, wants to say hi to everyone in the comments and the donor of this deck, who happens to be Dapper Dragon. Shout out again to Dapper Dragon and everyone in the comments. Say hi to Mana Drain. I'm keeping this and bottoming Omniscience. Saying hi to Mana Drain is a good test to see who's still here this late into the video. The diehards only. Sticking around for round 5. Positive record's locked, though. We're playing for the bread and butter. 4-1. Oh, here's a bunch of shitty cards. I'm going to go for Show and Tell. This could do the like color fixing thing where I use Dreadnought, cast Show and Tell off green and colorless mana. But I just sent the Omniscience to the bottom, so to be determined. Opponent is familiar with BoshNRoll lore and immediately called this out as Aeon Bridge. You're right. I will trade information about what I'm playing in Moto Leagues for clicks and views and subscribers every day of the week. It's a good trade for me. Deal. Dark Ritual. Oh, we're just dying. Okay, it's Doomsday. Well, I am a 4 dress down deck, if I can draw one. This Wasteland is probably just getting cracked off. And it certainly qualifies as a faster combo deck that we're playing against. I have some pretty good tools, teched out pretty hard, even in the main deck, but against turn 1 Dark Ritual Doomsday, it doesn't matter. Not going to have time to figure all that out. My sideboard plan for this, I'll probably bring in the Disputes and maybe some Surgicals. We'll see. Okay, Doomsday has resolved. Take a look at the exile pile. There were only 2 Force of Wills in exile. My goodness. Opponents rolled up on counter magic. The Cavern's gone. Deep Analysis is gone. They're on a slow pile. Okay. There we go. Emrakul. I don't think that's where I want to be. I'm just going to crack off this Wasteland and hope they didn't build a pile with being down a mana in mind. Yes! Yes! Cheese mode! Apologize you had to watch that, Mana Drain. I know you're a fan of the channel. We got the well ouch in the chat. Alright. Surprise Wasteland deck. The original build was also... Well, there's one Wasteland, isn't there? And it's in a crop rotation package, so... Yeah, I wouldn't have played around that either. Mystical Dispute coming in. Brazen Bar is a flash threat, but I don't think that's really where I want to be. I could bring in surgicals to try to like mess with the pile, or if I win a counter war, I can extract the Doomsdays. I don't think that's important either. I'm just going to bring in my Mystical Disputes and try to figure this out. Pithing Needle barely has text. You could name like Street Wraith or Edge of Autumn, but nah. And I think I'm going to cut Crop Rotation. I like the Veils. They are a blue-black deck with discard and counter spells in it. This is a combo mirror. Do it. One of Wasteland, carry. I have the Wasteland again. Should I go all in on it? That's a joke. Don't keep this hand. But yeah. The hero Wasteland wanted another run in the sun. I'm not going to grant it though. Not in this 7-card hand. Plug in. Okay. The Wasteland just insists on being in the hand. Okay, buddy. You win. You can stay. I'm going to send Emrakul to the bottom. If I can resolve a show and tell and put in Omniscience with all these cantrips, hopefully I figure something else out by then. Omniscience is also an easy pitch to Force of Will if they just jam Doomsday. Rest. They get to see the Wasteland. I said in the chat, you saw the Wasteland this time. No excuses. Took my Force of Will. Fair enough. Do you have Lotus Petal to let it rip? Am I going to get a cheesy little Wasteland on you anyway? I'm just going to fire off the Wasteland. They are a land light deck. And as we've seen, the Doomsday pile does require 2 mana at some point to cast the Thassa's Oracle at the back end. I think the game going more turns and more people spending more time sculpting favors me. But we'll find out. If they Dark Ritual Doomsday right now, got me. Just a ponder. Deal. I've got something like that myself. On Lotus Petal. And pass the turn. Okay. Crop Rotation's kind of cool. I don't think that really does anything. Mystical Dispute, Veil of Summer, Show and Tell. Kind of interested in all of these cards, but I don't get all of these cards. I'm going to put the Mystical Dispute in my hand and pass the turn. I'll draw the Show and Tell next turn, then I can fetch and try to find land number 3 for Omniscience. And hope Omniscience goes the distance. I also just like keeping Ponders against combo decks when it's close, because a shuffle just lets them know you don't have it, or you didn't find it. Can just hardcast Doomsday here. Plenty of lands, plenty of mana. Brainstorm, okay. Every turn that Doomsday doesn't go on the stack, good for me. And if they're building towards Sheoldred, I'm just a deck that can outmuscle a Sheoldred, and I'm not even worried about that. Brainstorm, no shuffle. Not yet, anyway. Here's the Show and Tell we know about. Ponder on Mosswort Bridge. I'm gonna put Yavimaya in my hand. That's really tough floating the Veil of Summer, because that is a card I want, but also like need to get this Show and Tell moving. Did end up shuffling the Brainstorm, just waited till the last second to do it. The Mystical Dispute does not help me here. Is there anything I could crop rotate for that is useful? Nope. I could rotate for Mosswort Bridge in the end step, but if they daze my crop rotation, I'm just down a land and not even really playing the game. In this moment, Flusterstorm looks way better than Mystical Dispute, but if we remember that Mystical Dispute is in the sideboard specifically because of Small Teferi, then it's just an unfortunate lack of overlap between the matchups. With Teferi basically non-existent in the metagame these days, maybe it is better as a different counterspell than Dispute. Play against Doomsday like once per league, and I've barely seen a Teferi in weeks. What is in the exile zone? We've got 1, 2, 3 Force of Wills. There's one kicking around somewhere. Duress. 4 Duresses and a Thoughtseize in exile. Doesn't look like they're going for a discard spell. There is a Sheoldred in the deck, but that won't be the plan at this point. I don't think that Veil of Summer is a card that I need to mix right now. What I need to do is draw Emrakul, then resolve the Show and Tell. That's pretty cool. I'm going to play Saga and pass the turn. This gives me a turn to try to develop something else, like something to do with Omniscience, which I'm currently missing. And if I untap, I can Mystical Dispute a Force of Will. If I get a turn at all, which is always a big if. Storm, I'm going to dispute this. This will definitely kill me. It puts their whole deck in their hand where they can do whatever they want with it. There's the forest pitching Daze. Anything that crop rotation does here. Sorry if you hear loud purring. My cat just jumped onto my lap and is really excited to see me. There's nothing helpful off crop rotation here. So if I die, I die. The Veil of Summer, interesting enough, would have pushed through that Force of Will, countered the Brainstorm, given me another turn with a draw. Still no sign of a dress down. You got me. This is good for 2. I can't remove it. Sure. Perfect hindsight. Probably wanted the Veil, but I don't know. Magic's hard. You don't think this changes. I'm going back in. What you see is what you get. 4 Veils, 4 dress downs, and a combo kill on my own. Let's go. They said in the chat you thought about forcing Brainstorm, didn't you? No, I did not, because I know you're getting Cavern. Yeah, you can see it in the video, but no, I had no further pieces of interaction. I know that Cavern of Souls is in the deck, and fighting over Thassa's Oracle is pointless, so no. If I had additional counter spells, they would have deployed at the Brainstorm. I was checking my deck and sideboard for reasons to cast crop rotation, and I didn't find one. Okay, a Veil of Summer, 2 Show and Tells, no mana to cast the Show and Tells. The Veil of Summer is good, but the rest of my hand's not. I'm going to keep. We saw 5 duress effects in the deck. Last game, they kept their hand on the strength of turn 1 duress. Let's cash in this Veil of Summer. This is not the hand I would have chosen if I were building my hand in the bathroom and showing up to the match as a big cheater. There's upside here. Even play around Daze on Veil with Lotus Petal. I forgot to check their exile pile. I don't specifically remember seeing many Dazes. They can play Opposition Agent. I didn't see it, but I am just gonna fetch anyway. Get a Tropical Island. It's something that's in the deck sometimes. I'm not gonna lose that shit. Duress me. Duress me. Blooded Strand. Oh, Island doesn't cast Duress. I'm not going to use Veil of Summer just as a cantrip in this matchup. Enough things worth actually fighting over. But I am going to need a land. On deck. Mosswort Bridge. Mosswort Bridge. Ugh. Emrakul. Okay. Well, my opponent knows my hand must have some sort of interaction because I kept a 1-lander. And missing my land drop, they can take their time sculpting now. And if they just Dark Ritual Doomsday and never give me something to Veil. God, like so. Please cast Duress. Childred. That's not great for me. I'm going to Veil of Summer now while I can still draw cards pain-free. Childred is not even really that bad compared to all the shit I got going on. There's a long pause on this Veil of Summer. Like, if they fight over Veil of Summer, that's something they don't have to fight over Show and Tell with. Right, they just let me have it. Found a land. Good start. Lose 2 life here. Just going to shove Show and Tell on the stack. Hope to draw another land and do it again next turn. It's the plan I've been given. And I'm going to put in Emrakul if this resolves. Grizzlebrand can't draw cards because of Shuldred. Force of Negation, pitching Personal Tutor. You got it. Alright, just need a mana source to do it again. Still plenty of game left to play here. Lotus Petal. Big chunk of damage. Ponder is not too bad if I draw that. Brainstorm is a nightmare. Dress down's actually great. Not that one. Okay. We're running out of time. I go to 6 off this Shuldred attack. I go to 4 off my draw step. And then I need Shuldred out of play before it connects again. I guess I have to chump block, right? Like, this thing has Death Touch, and with me at 4, Emrakul doesn't get to hang out. Okay. Danger zone. Alright. Or I could draw all 4. Show and Tells and die. GG's. Yeah, that opening hand didn't pan out. It was really heavy on stuffing a discard spell and getting a 2-for-1 and then pulling ahead from there, and my opponent just didn't do that game. Probably should have mulliganed to something more proactive in my combo deck. A 3-2 record, which is the same record that I had last time I played this deck. It is nothing if not consistent. I think these Besejus are too much. At least one of them is too much. There were so many hands that I had to mulligan because they only made green mana. That's not cool. Like, you're a Ponder Brainstorm combo deck with a lot of moving pieces. You got to be able to do that early on. The Boseiju to remove the Ensnaring Bridge, remove the counterbalance, whatever's messing you up, is nice. I like just cooking that tech into the deck, but I like casting my spells more. To make that change right away. Is Pithing Needle the correct bonus artifact to have in the main deck? Like, you're dressing down so often that construct beats basically don't happen unless you're on like plan D. And plan D is not something I want to plan for in the main deck. I'm not going to do a Shadow Spear or Retrofitter Foundry in that spot. Needle probably makes the most sense. Name's Correct is Name's Wasteland, both of which are important cards against you. With fewer Teferis and more Doomsday around, I'm going to switch these Mystical Disputes to Flusterstorms. That's 100% a meta call. I never once reached for the Uros, but I did play multiple combo decks and multiple decks with Leyline of the Void in the main deck. Never really a spot to reach for those. Maybe Basic Forest is too far. I mean, Basic Forest lets you get through Blood Moon, which is a problem for this deck because your entire everything, Mothwort Bridge and Urza Saga, are based on doing something cool with a land. You could still show and tell or dress down and Dreadnought through a Blood Moon. The deck's not ice cold to it. I wonder if you need 2 basic islands. If this is just a fetch land, is that better? You could do some middle of the road stuff, like cut the Lotus Petal and the Pithing Needle or 2 Ice Fang Waddles and just kind of bridge the gap when you're not going nuts. One of the things I really liked about Simic omni-show back in the day was that you just got 4 Ice Fang Waddles, you got Uro, and then you were also a proactive combo deck with 4 Veil of Summer in the main. There was just a lot going on that people had to contend with. And the Dreadnought package just eats up all that deck space. And the Dreadnought package rules. Going coast to coast with Dreadnought did occur in this league at least once, or making an opponent answer a Dreadnought. It mattered. You probably don't need all 3 crop rotations either. Yavimaya isn't that important either. It's just all of the tech lands, like the Boseijus, one of which I already cut, the Yavimaya, the Mosswort Bridge, they all just tap for green. And there's way more blue in this deck than green as far as spells you want to cast. You do need to be able to activate Mosswort Bridge, but Tropical Island does that just fine. I'm off Yavimaya, I'm into Tropical Island. Just maxing out on the best lands for the deck. If you want to take a step in the direction of stability, Lotus Petal, Pithing Needle, 1 crop rotation, 1 Urza Saga could become 4 Ice Fang Waddles. Then you also have more cantrips in the deck. You have more blue and green cards for your Force of Wills and Vigor. You can contest a board on the fair. You do have enough basics to turn on the Death Touch. It does bring you down to 19 lands, but you just added 4 cantrips to the deck. That's just something you can do. I'm not going to do it here. I'm not going to recommend it. That's not how I would play the deck. I do think that executing, you have this cool A and this cool B, and executing one or the other, and they dovetail together. That's the point of the deck. I'm not going to try to turn it into something it's not, but that's there if you're interested in more stability. You could also just make Lotus Petal and crop rotation into 2 preordains. That might get you where you want to go with more consistency. Treat it like a show and tell deck. The Lotus Petal's cool. It almost came up once or twice, never quite where I wanted to be. And it is showing some awareness that the deck is land light. But the spots where you're tutoring for Lotus Petal over Dreadnought, you're probably already suffering. I'm going to at least turn a crop rotation into a preordain. I just wanted more selection. The games I lost were not because I couldn't do anything. They were because my hand was non-functional. Just 1 piece away here, or 1 piece away there. Or missed a land drop because my cantrip didn't come up with it and I don't play that many cantrips. Now I'm deep in the weeds, and I'm going to come out of the weeds and back into Civilization and say, Dapper Dragon, thank you for resending this deck to me. It's a lot of fun. There's something powerful here, and I think there is a balance of making this thing really sing somewhere in here. I would need more testing to know if Uro's worth doing in the sideboard. Maybe you just want Brazen Borrower in the main. Maybe the Coatl thing is worth doing. Maybe that's all meta dependent. Who knows? This is where I'm going to leave it on the 75 after my second 5 matches with the deck. Thanks again for sending it in. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Hope you had fun. As always, I appreciate you being here. Check out the Patreon and all the other links that support the channel in the video description, and I'll see you next time.